Hey, so we are right back into another video for Dragon Ball Super, the card game. This one is a deck profile, yes. A couple things. I was supposed to do a green peel off one, but like Peter Katani came out with one, and then a few other people came out with one, and I was just like, oh, that's way too close to what I was building. So I stopped building it, and then I built this. So a couple shout outs as far as this goes. I think Noms was playing a Goat Tints Champa Mono Blue, and then gave me an idea of this one because Joel was playing the Mono Black or Mono Blue and Black Jackie Joel updated version, and I was like, that looks tight. I'm gonna make my own version, but this time with Champa, and I really like it. You know why? It's because it's hey. All right, that's enough. It's all right. It's okay, Dex. Just another take on Gogeta, and for those who just want to see the deck, you can just skip to the end. I have no problem with that. But I'm going to go through exactly what I was going to go through last time, or what I was going to do last time. And this one's going to be posted a little bit later into the day or in the night. So some of you might not even see this until later. And that's because I'm going to be taking it to locals the next day or the day before. I don't know. It's probably the day of by the time I post this. And I didn't want anybody to see it because I know some of you, I know who you are. I know you're watching right now. I know. I just didn't want you to see my deck before I actually started playing it. Man, people always be asking about my decks. I'm like, stop saying so much. I got like 4 more rounds to play. Anyway, again, if you haven't checked out the Untapped tourney, go check it out. It's always going to be in the description. Signups are this Friday. So, Champa. He is one of the oldest leaders in the game. He is from set 1, I do believe, from Galactic Battle with all the other gods, Beerus, and other people, Soul Striker, you know. You already know. So for him, he is a red leader, of course. You can see that. His auto from his front side is that once per turn, one of your battle cards attacks a leader card. If his attacking power is 15k or more, draw 1 card. He is a flip 2, draw 2 leader. With the auto on the other side with 15k, of course, draw 1 card, and then activate main. Place 1 card from your hand into the drop area. Choose this card or one of your battle cards and gains double strike for the duration of the turn. So the approach that I wanted to take for Champa is a couple of things. The reason why I went mono blue with black in it is because of all the 1-drops that he kind of gets support out of, and Hellas, basically. So those are really the 2 things I really wanted to go through, so, or at least take advantage of, that is. So if you didn't know what Hellas does, she is a super combo, so I'll put this to 4, and she is basically the Huragan for your leader card, which is a god, or Universe 2. 4 or less life, you place 1 card from your hand into the drop area, and then you draw 2 cards, and it gains 10k power or combo power for the rest of the turn. No, you don't get to take advantage of the 0 cost 10ks, but it's not that big of a deal. I think this one is more than enough reason to play Champa or another god or Universe 2, which you don't really have too many options for. Let's first go through all of the blue cards first and kind of explain why I picked those. First one is Awakening Talent Pan. So there's a number of reasons why I picked this, and she is probably one of the best cards for Champa simply because of his unawakened side. Just simply plussing every single turn. So her auto is that when she attacks, you choose 1 card and add it to your life, and it gains 10k, just like all the Kabbas and Trunks, whatever, right? And then in the turn, you return this card to the owner's hand. So what happens is that you play her for 1 blue energy, obviously, and then you attack. She gains to 15k, and because autos are turn player autos, for those who haven't played Champa or are not aware, basically she becomes 15k, and then his auto triggers right after. So it's her auto first, she's at 15k, that's the first check, and then his auto, so that way you draw. So what happens is that you take 1 life, you plus 1 card, and then you take another draw, or you take another card, basically you plus another card because of his auto ability. One huge thing to keep in mind is that it is only when a battle card attacks a leader card. So if you run into a Vegito or one of the Deadly Defenders, it's going to be kind of annoying to deal with. And yes, I do believe because blockers are right after autos, or at the very least, when the battle card does attack a leader card, it doesn't really matter as far as the timing goes. both autos still go off if a blocker is activated. So again, she comes back to your hand. She is a 5k combo for free, and she is fodder right after you awaken, because most of the time you won't be using her after you awaken, because now you can just drop her with Hellas and then draw 2 cards, because that is probably the best target for it. Moving on into Senzu Bean, yes, the most expensive common that we have, most likely. I don't think there is another common that is more expensive than this, at almost 10 bucks, probably more than that at this point. But the Senzu Bean is pretty vital in any blue deck, and it is probably one of the best blue cards or defensive blue cards that we have for blue that is able, or that you're able to splash into. And the activate battle is that you choose one of the cards. It can be, you know, a leader card, a battle card, a field card. It gains 5k power for the duration of the turn, and then choose up to 2 of your energy and switch into active mode. So the energy itself isn't too prevalent, I would say, but it is nice to have a free Senzu Bean and untap, and then 5k for the duration of the turn. And technically, if you really want to get technical, you could use the Senzu Bean on unawakened side if you want to plus something and then get it to 15k. I mean, that's up to you, I guess. Senzu Bean is nice and all, but then we have 3 Whis. It is negate the attack and choose one of your energy to switch it to active mode. This is pretty much mono blue. You're only going to be charging blue throughout the whole time that you do it, or you play, basically. So don't have to worry about untapping something else. But for blue, I think this is probably the best counter that you can still have. It's a free negate, and at 3 it's been perfect. Next up we have Yajirobe. So this kind of delays until you get to 4 to 5 energy, and then you start doing stuff. Even before then you start putting a little bit of pressure. But the real thing here is that Yajirobe is there because you can negate any of the defenders I was talking about before, and as soon as they start attacking with it, you just block, and then it KOs it, and then you don't have to worry about it any defender, and now you can awaken and +2 every single turn. It's almost amazing, or it's amazing. Now we have the boy, which is at all costs Vegeta, and I only have him at 2. But it's perfectly fine. All of the win cards basically are at 2. It's a good ratio in my opinion. If you want to up the ratios, you can always remove some of these and put it to 3. It's not that big of a deal. And if you didn't know, he is a play a card, draw 1, and choose one of your energy to switch it to active mode, which is basically a 3 costs for 4 energy, basically. And his activate means choose 2 cards in your life and add it to your hand, and then it gains 3k power for each energy that you have, and then if you have 5 or more, you get to KO something and gains triple strike. Very popular card. It is now almost 20 bucks for a good reason. I picked them up when they're like $3 or $4, maybe 5, but then, I mean, even then, like, he does so much for you, and whenever you see cards like this and they're actually pretty damn useful, pick him up. Now the reason why we play him is because of Gogeta. Well, not inherently. The reason why we play this card is because of Gogeta. So the reason why I picked him out is because he is just a 20k beater. Later in the game, when you need to give something 20 or double strike, this guy is probably one of the better bets. So that way you don't have to actually take a life to swing, like with Pan and Dark Power Massain. And not only that, he is perfect for dedicated energy, and as well as Union Fusion material. And at 2 is perfectly fine. And now that I added the Gogetas, these are the big boys, other than at all cost Vegeta. Ultimate Fusion Gogeta, the one from the starter deck. He does pretty much everything for you. He has double strike for 5, Union Fusion for 4. You have to have the same value for this. And then the auto sparking effect is that you draw 2 cards and you choose 2 of the battle cards and place them at the bottom of their owner's deck in any order. Any of your opponent's battle cards, that is. So you draw 2 and you get rid of 2 threats, and this has been incredibly useful. At 2 is not bad, maybe at 3 as far as like trying to fine tune this deck, but so far it's just been really fun. I don't know about competitiveness, I will find out very soon, but for fun, this has been very fun. Another thing is that Hero Revived is stupid good. I'll explain how we get there and what the plan is beforehand after we build the whole deck. But as you know, he is probably one of the most busted blue cards that we have right now. I don't care what anybody says. He is a triple striker with 30,000 barrier deflect, can be cold bloodlusted, can be KO'd, can't be do anything until it actually gets attacked or Zenoed. And his sparking 10 is that when you play this card, if you have 5 or more energy, choose 1 from your life and place it in your drop area, and then your opponent shuffles all their cards into the deck and draws 3. So no introduction for that man. He is amazing. He will always be amazing. He will always affect every single meta there is, as long as he gets out. So now we have Preface of Recovery Son Goku. He is basically, in this deck anyway, a 1 cost where he has Barrier, and when you play this card, choose up to 2 of your energy and switch it to active mode. I'll explain it later again, but he is also a good target for his for Champa's Awakened side, so that way you can give him double strike and then just combo out with something else to bring him down, bring the person down from 5 to 3. And a little bit of spice here, and playing the double shot Vegeta. And at the end of the battle, of course, he's red, but at the end of the battle, when you combo this card, you play in rest mode. This is something that I found out, or not really found out, but I saw in a lot of different Hercule decks, and I was like, you know what? I think Champa would probably really like that. And not only defense in having one of them, because you're gonna see another one. There's no, like, I've seen like 2 or 3 of them because this deck draws so much, but if you just combo one on defense, it's really not that big of a deal. And he is yet again fusion fodder, so these two really go well together, and they both have their uses. And lastly, it's going to be Zeno, the Zeno button that is at 3. I might put it down to 2. There are a couple of changes, like last minute changes that I've been doing, but so far in the original build it has been 3. I'm very excited to see who may, or really what kind of changes people might want to take or approach in this deck. So please let me know if you agree with 2 or 3, but he has been pretty clutch. I don't think that the deck really takes advantage of this, but it is really good to just not tap out sometimes. So when you get this off and you're able to actually untap all your blue energy, which again, majority of the time you're gonna have all your energy be blue, you can play a double shot Vegeta, you can play a Sensu Bean, a Whis Coercion. Yeah, you know, you get the idea. The only regret of putting him in here is again, you don't have too many uses for him. So like Infernal Villainy Cell, and where you combo and draw, same thing for Unbreakable. Those are probably good targets for it, but the deck itself is kind of a little tight, but there might be some wiggle room. That kind of gets us to the black cards of the deck. So the Dark Power Messian has actually been really quite good against other not Cell Chain, but Shenron decks. And his auto is that when you attack, you may take 1 card from your life and add it to your hand. Gains 10k, being 15k. He's pretty much pan, but at the same time, he just doesn't return to your hand. So most of the time, I'm looking for a pan versus this card. And if I am playing this card, he's just chilling there until I'm ready to awaken, and then I attack. Because most of the time, a Shenron would Child's Wish turn 2, and he's going to be ready for it in order to make them drop 2 cards, because it says when the opponent plays a battle card with a non-keyword skill, which is activate main or an auto, they have to drop 2 cards into the drop, well, from their hand into the drop area. So very cool card, pretty useful in this deck, and gives more black for the deck. So we have 3 Cronoa. So you know, I play a lot of best of 1, and this is why I don't put out side decks, but in best of 1s, this is probably a flex card. I actually switched out Cronoa with Haru because she is not only a good double striker target, in which she has critical and 15k, but I go against a lot of Android players, so she is a free 15k critical with double strike on his awakened side. So that is definitely a flex spot, and I would highly consider, you know, your meta in order to change this. But she is a draw 1 cantrip, whatever you want to call it, and prevents Shigesh to be played. So in a best of 1, she is pretty damn good. Which reminds us to play Kami. So we got 3 Kami Global Unifier. I think what I did was actually take out 1 of him, 1 of her, 1 of him, and then play 3 Haru instead. And 2 and 2 is not too bad so far. But again, the original build, and just for the draw, it has actually not been bad. And for him, he has Afflict and Auto, of course, draw 1, and then activate main. If they have 4 more battle cards in play, they ignore Barrier and KO everything for less for 2 energy. So playing him turn 1 really sets a precedent of, like, you know, don't overdo yourself. You better play a Crisis Crusher, you better KO it, waste your KO, whatever it may be. Now, the last black card, other than the Big Bad Monster, is going to be Shenron Figure and Majesty. And the thing about this card, I think, I said it before when he first came out, I was just like, everybody should pick up a playset of this man, or this dragon. because he does so much for you. Basically, because I am gonna get so many cards in the drop area, because I have so many black cards that are combo fodder, because I have Hellas as a super combo, etc, etc, I'm gonna have that Sparking 5, and I need that requirement for both Gogetas anyway. But for Shenron himself, the draw 1 and then choose 1 into switching 2 to active, which effectively makes him a 2-drop the turn you play it. Choose a battle card from 2 or less from the drop area, which this one doesn't really have any targets other than Yajirobe. Yajirobe is probably the best target for this. So if they KO'd something, or if they ended up killing Yajirobe after a revenge blocker, then this is probably a good way to get him right back. And I've done this before, and it's super annoying for the opponent. But really, the real killer right here, other than the energy manipulation, is giving the battle card plus 5k in critical. Like, that is just stupid. At all costs is a target. Hero Revived is a target if you haven't got them down. I've used it against, or with the other Gogeta for double strike critical and 30k, and of course they couldn't stop it, especially with the Hellas combo. So I mean, it just does so much for you. And then lastly, we have the big boy, the guy, the man himself. And yes, you've seen this in Jackie Joel. So Joel's deck with the Jackie Chun in the original mono blue. You've seen this in Hercule right after in Atlanta, I think. Hill Twins just made their Soul Striker one, which I actually really like. I just haven't seen it played, I guess. I don't know. Regardless, right now I think this is the best time to have Domigra splashed in, or not really splashed in, but built around and used as a game winner, or at least a win con. And with all the other black cards, like I said, they all have their uses, and Domigra is the guy to end the game with, definitely, because he has triple strike, Dark Overwhelm 7, so you have to have 7 black cards in the drop, 5 energy, and then when he swings, you reveal their hand, and then choose 4 battle cards from it and combo with them into your combo area. So you basically strip out 4 battle cards, 4 cards from their hand. So this is the deck, right? So this is the deck as it is, as it stands right now. And again, I'm very open to different ideas, but right now this is probably one of the most fun I've made in for a deck in a while. And I was gonna go mono red. I think that's the next direction I'm going to take in a leader or something else, because I think red is really good right now and it has its place. But right now, this sort of weird combination of Champa and all these cards, it's kind of working out for me. So here's the thing that you kind of have to look out for, or at least the turns from 1 to 4 to 5, right? So these guys are going to be your targets in order to self-awaken and then draw. By the time that you self-awaken by turn 2 or 3, because they're going to be swinging to your leader, this chick is not going to be on the field unless they full power or shocking death ball. Those are the 2 things that you have to watch out for against a green leader. You just have to play differently. That's all you have to do, and you have to play conservatively. You have to just take it a little slower. Keep your hand down a little bit, waste cards, combo these guys out, recycle your hand a little bit and combo them from their field after you draw, and make sure you keep you know, 2 guys, these 2 guys, and then one of your Gogetas if you can. It's just a little bit different when it comes to androids, and I think that's the androids and as well as Pan are really the only 2 things that kind of gives this deck a little bit of hassle. Which is ironic because that's all I play against, so that's whatever. Anyway, so those are the things that you have to watch out for if you're going second. So you're going to be attacking with the Pan, most likely, draw 2, and then give her back. They're going to attack, they're going to give you another card, you're going to play Pan next, or you can go ahead and just play one of the cantrips in order to draw 1, and then have them attack, and then the next turn, play Pan, just depending on how many times they attack that second turn. Oh, and I'm sure you're thinking about how does it do against Storm? You know, I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's okay. Like, you know, I don't think, again, I've said it before, this is not really a competitive deck. Don't go against competitive decks. This is more of like a mid to like okay deck, like decent deck. But when it gets going and when you actually have your hand and you get to your win cons, this deck is baller. Senzu Bean is there for Storm, Kami is there for Storm, Yajirobe is there for Storm. So I mean, you have some answers, and like again, the deck draws a lot, and you have a lot to combo out. And if you can kind of avoid that, then you should be good. So that's your first turn. Second turn, play cantrip or another pan, etc, etc. Third turn, you play Yajirobe, because by that time they most likely have a Deadly Defender out. The fourth energy, you're going to be playing Shenron, or you're going to be comboing out or comboing one of these bad boys, or getting one of these guys on board, or at least trying to awaken as quickly as possible, so that way your Hellas is active, and then you get to draw more and more, so that way you can get to these two ofs. Any of these two ofs is going to win you the game, and if it doesn't, then you're going to have to be a little more aggressive early in the game, because you want to get them to 8 to 5, and then 5 to 3, and then use Hero Revived, and then the next turn basically Demigra with everybody in the grave. And there are 12 cards, well, yeah, 12 cards. I was like, did I change something? 12 black cards that are at your disposal. And basically what happens is that Shenron should be on the field unless they have some removal. If they're smart, they will play removal. That's why androids and as well as Pan is a little bit of a hassle. So you use Shenron in order to give him critical, or at least untap 2 after you pay 5 in Union Fusion, and then the next turn combo this man out and then get Demigra if you don't have enough in your drop. But at the same time, you need Sparking 5 in your drop in order to use Shenron, so you might as well combo out anyway. And that's where the Zeno buttons come in, and then that's another reason why they may need to go down to 2. Then another consideration was objection. Switching the Zeno button for objection, but when I did that I negged a little bit too hard, not only for drawing too many objections, which is a little bit weird because there are only 3 of them, but it also reduces the amount of cards that you have in your hand in order to give it value, or for those things to have value outside of your hand. So I'm not really too happy about objection. Maybe East Kai, or the Kai, the whatever Kai it is, in order to play 2 energy and do it that way. That very well could be an option. That way you can ramp up to 5 very quickly, or 4, or whatever you may want to do. It would not be a bad turn 2 play, because again, plussing 2 cards on turn 1, or depending on what turn you have, and then playing the Kai on turn 2, and then just get to 4 energy as soon as possible, so that way you can play Shenron. But you also have to figure out basically how to get that draw and defend at the same time. So if anything, I hope you enjoyed. I'm probably going to be playing this at locals. I'll let you know how it goes. If I lose, oh well. We'll see what the matchups are. And if I win, then that's fun stuff too. And I'll probably play this coming Friday for Friday Night Fights, just for fun. And we'll go from there. Let me know what you think about the deck. Let me know if you built anything like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Like, subscribe if you're new. Comment below. Later.